My name is Christina Mitchell. I'm an esthetician and a substitute teacher, and I went vegan in 2016.
Why did you do that?
I went vegan mainly for the animals. It started out because I was having some health issues though. I was having some health issues and I decided to do research and figure out why I was having those health issues. And I looked into dairy milk, basically. Dairy milk is full of hormones and is harmful to the reproductive system, basically. And so I decided to give it up. And then I started watching documentaries like Super Size Me. I kind of just went from there. I got on Facebook and I was following a friend that I worked with. And she had shared the Taji, Japan dolphin slaughter that I wasn't aware about. And underneath some of the comments on Facebook, someone shared some documentaries like What the Health, Forks Over Knives, and
Cowspiracy?
it wasn't, yeah, Cowspiracy, there was another one too. Earthlings.
Yeah. Okay.
Earthlings, yeah. So I watched Forks Over Knives and Cowspiracy. Didn't get to Earthlings because I'm not one to watch that sort of thing. I don't like violence at all, and I knew that it would be a little violent. Then I found Vegan Outreach, and I got a mentor, a local mentor in my area. I followed her and went to a vegan meetup. And I found some vegan friends and kind of just went from there.
Cool. Was it easy?
For me, I feel like it was. I mean, it wasn't too hard. Of course, I questioned if I was getting enough protein. You know, I gave up meat. That was easy. And I was eating some fish. But then I watched a slaughterhouse video. It came through my feed on Facebook and I was in tears. And decided that was it. And so then I went vegan from there. I went vegan for the animals.
What kind of health changes did you experience or physiological?
Actually, I gained weight, believe it or not. I've always been a little bit on the skinnier side. When I started eating vegan food, you know, you don't have to like count calories with vegan food. You can eat whatever you want. And so I did. Not that I ever counted calories anyway, but I gained weight. And I noticed that I wasn't suffering from ovarian cysts either. I used to suffer from ovarian cysts from the time I was 15 to the time I was 36. And so I didn't have to worry about that either. I wasn't suffering. I didn't have the pain, or I didn't realize I had them anyways. A lot of times when you have ovarian cyst, you're in a lot of pain, a lot of abdominal pain. And I've been in the hospital several times because of the pain. I've had one burst. You know, in the beginning, I think I said I gave up milk. Milk has a lot of hormones in it, and I think that was affecting me. The doctors always told me it was caffeine, you know, to give up caffeine, that sort of thing. But in reality, it's just the hormones that I was drinking. I was a huge milk drinker.
What do you drink now?
Oat milk.
That's your favorite?
Yeah, oat milk's definitely my favorite.
That's cool. Any other physiological or mental changes or emotional?
Well, I used to suffer from anxiety too, and I feel like I don't have to take medicine. I used to take medicine for it actually years ago, and I don't take medicine for it anymore.
Awesome.
So I feel like that could be a part too.
What kind of foods you like to eat on an ideal day, maybe, or just throughout the week?
Yeah, so my favorite breakfast is a smoothie because it's easy, you know. I like to sleep in. So the easiest thing for me is just to put a smoothie together. I throw some berries and a handful of spinach in there with some plant-based protein, dates sometimes, and some flax seeds, hemp seeds, whatever kind of seeds I can get my hands on. And that's basically my go-to.
What about like lunch and dinner?
So I like salads, soups, lasagna. I like tacos. I like a lot of Italian food, like pasta, you know, that sort of thing. I like foods with carbs. I like carbs.
Has a doctor ever said you need to eat animals?
No, but I have been told to drink milk.
Really?
Yeah, I have been told to drink milk.
What was that for?
My teeth.
Oh, wow. Have you had problems with your teeth since you've been vegan?
No, I used to eat a lot of candy when I was a kid.
Oh.
Yeah.
How often do you cheat?
Do I what?
Cheat.
Do I cheat?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean have... I don't cheat. I just think about the animals. Is that what you mean? You know, eat plants.
It's a trick question.
Yeah, no, I don't cheat. You know, I'm a teacher. There's animal-based foods everywhere. There's always a temptation, but I always think about the animals. Whether it's just a piece of candy, a cupcake, that sort of thing. I just always think about the animals.
Nice. Is that easy or hard?
I mean, it's easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it can be hard for other people, but I just think about the animals.
Could you be with somebody who is not vegan?
I have been with somebody that isn't vegan, just to be honest. I can date somebody. It's easier to date somebody that isn't vegan because, you know, after a while you would assume that you can turn them the other way. You would hope anyway. That's my hope. But in the long run, would I marry somebody that's not vegan? Probably not. Yeah, I want to stick with somebody that has the same values as I do. I'm an activist. I'm not just a vegan. You know, I've been on the sidelines. I've had animals die in my arms. So I would be a hypocrite, I feel, if I were to marry somebody that didn't feel the same way I did.
No doubt, yeah.
That didn't support me. So.
Do you have any companion animals?
I do. I have a cat and 4 dogs.
Are you able to get them on the plant-based diet?
Well, my cat lives with my mom, so that's kind of up to her, unfortunately. But with my dogs, yes, they are definitely plant-based.
Sweet.
They eat a lot of sweet potatoes, but they also have a plant-based kibble.
You didn't mention sweet potatoes earlier. Do you like sweet potatoes?
I do like sweet potatoes. Yeah.
What about like mock meats and stuff? Do you get into any of that?
I will eat meat substitutes, but I prefer to eat other things like tofu or lentils and beans, that sort of thing.
Cool. Yeah. Prior to going vegan, did you ever think, there's no way I can do that?
No, not really. No, like I said, I just thought about the animals, and when I was a kid, I wanted to be a veterinarian. That was my dream job. But I didn't want to put animals down. I didn't want to euthanize animals. You know, my aunt had told me that I would have to do that. It just wasn't something I wanted to do.
Did you ever, you know, before you went vegan, ever witness an animal being killed or harmed in any way?
Before I went vegan?
Yeah, maybe as a child or anything like that.
I can't say I have, no. I've had to put animals down, you know. I remember...
So you have seen some...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Do you feel like that might have had an effect on your empathy toward animals?
I do. Yeah, I do. I've had cats and dogs growing up, and my dad taught me how to love and take care of them. I think that was part of it.
Have you been influential with anybody else, like helping anybody else go vegan?
I have, actually. I lived in Vegas for about a year, and there was one friend in particular who I worked with to go vegan. I don't think I was living in Vegas at the time, but I was on my way. And I went to a puppy mill protest and met this random woman. She's awesome. Her name's Sarika. I mean, I wasn't meaning to turn anyone vegan. I was just there in support. She found out that I was vegan and, again, did her own research, and she became an activist. So, yes. Wow.
You have any tips there on how to influence others?
Just be yourself, you know, tell people the truth. Love them from where they are, you know.
Meet them where they're at.
Meet them where they're at. Yeah, exactly. And just kind of go from there. And I try not to judge people. It's hard, but I try not to judge people because I've been there. I haven't always been vegan, so.
As far as like the ethical versus the dietary component, do you feel like it's of utmost importance to have the ethical component for this to work?
I do.
It can't just be a diet?
No, because from what I have seen, most people that do it for diet, they go back to eating animals. Until they've been actually like on the sidelines, they won't necessarily understand where their food comes from unless they've experienced what I've experienced or what others like myself have experienced.
I mean, there are some cases maybe where some people have.
I guess, yeah, it is. You're right.
Even still, though, it's like
You're right.
there must be something there ethically that's just not clicking. It seems like, I don't know.
I've heard people going back because of health issues. I just feel like they weren't getting the right calorie and, they weren't eating the right amount of food maybe, or maybe somebody influenced them to go back, maybe a loved one, that sort of thing.
Social
I've
pressure.
seen that. Yeah, social pressure, exactly. I've seen a lot of that.
Yeah, and I've never heard of somebody having a difficulty and then trying to get help. It's like they just kind of do their own armchair research.
Right.
And they don't get like a lifestyle medicine practitioner in the mix to try to help figure out what's going on.
Right.
Have you ever heard of anybody like trying everything and it not working?
No.
Yeah, me neither. How do you define veganism?
It's just an ethical way to live, doing your best to do no harm.
You feel like it's important for others to do this?
I do. It's just a compassionate way to live. If we want peace, we have to give it to others below us,
What's your favorite part about being vegan?
Friends. Like, I've met you and my friend Serena Farb, vegan since birth. I've met a lot of really good people. I probably wouldn't have met if I wouldn't have went vegan. They've seen what I've seen and they don't want to go back to the same way of life, that sort of thing. I don't feel that they're necessarily bad people because they eat meat, Maybe they just don't know what they're supporting.
Why didn't you do this sooner?
I just didn't realize, I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it. I knew where hot dogs came from. I knew that animal products in general came from dead animals, but I even lived by a slaughterhouse when I was going to college. It was IBP in Emporia State, and I hated the smell of blood, like throughout you could smell it. It was so bad. I don't know. It just didn't click. It didn't click until I decided to do some research for health concerns, health issues.
Resources, vegan outreach, you mentioned them. So if somebody wants to do this, you think that's a great way to get the ball rolling?
I do, because for me, I was able to find a mentor. I didn't know where to start. So I went to Vegan Outreach, found a local mentor, and she just sent me, a plethora of resources, links to recipes, and that sort of thing. I just kind of went from there. But yeah, that's where I would start.
Now, is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to get out there?
I just feel that the world would be a better place if we treated animals like they matter. They're here with us, not for us. I go home and I look at my animals and I hold them, and I wish people would do that. They would go home and look at their animals and think of those animals as the same as the animals that they're eating. Because all animals have the capacity to suffer, and all animals have the right to feel joy and love. That's what I want to share with the world, because I feel like that's what really matters.
Do you feel like this has made you more compassionate?
Yeah, I really do. I'm that type of person now where this may sound weird. I see a dead animal on the road that may have just got hit by a car, and there's nothing that you can do. It's already lost its life. I will say a prayer, the Hawaiian prayer for that animal, because that animal was important to someone, that animal had a family, just like I do. And so that's just the type of person that I am.
What's the Hawaiian prayer?
I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, I love you.
That's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Do you ever avoid using the word vegan?
Sometimes, because I feel like to some people it's a bad word. So I wish it wasn't that way. I wish we could just say food, Sometimes I say plant-based. But yeah, sometimes I do, just to be honest, because again, I feel like people see it as a bad word.
But it's not.
It's not, no. It's a lifestyle, and it's a compassionate one at that.
That's like saying it's bad to not want to hurt someone.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and we need to change that.
Yeah.
So
hopefully we're doing that. Your jobs, you mentioned you're a teacher. What was the other thing?
So I'm a teacher and an esthetician.
What's that?
So I work with skin.
Oh, is there anything that relates to?
Yeah, the more plants you eat, the better your skin looks.
Really? Is there science to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
How does that work?
For instance, you take milk. Milk can cause inflammation in the body. Your skin is a mirror, basically, of what's going on in the body. And if you drink milk, there's science behind it where it causes acne, can cause inflammation of the skin, eczema, that sort of thing. So, and I've told some of my clients to, I've asked them if they were huge dairy drinkers. And as soon as they got off the dairy, their skin cleared up. So yes, I feel like eating plant-based foods is a huge factor if you want your skin to look nice and clear.
Are there certain plant foods that are better for your skin?
Yeah, I would say whole foods for sure. Whole foods, plant-based.
Like any in particular, like maybe like blueberries or something? I don't know. Beets?
I would say greens.
Greens. Okay. So as an esthetician, am I saying that right?
Esthetician.
What do you do?
So I do facials.
Oh, okay.
Chemical peels, microderms, even back facials, which is just a relaxing facial on the back.
So you mentioned dairy is like not good for the skin. What about like meat and eggs?
No.
What happens with that? I mean, you just saying no, or is there really something there?
No, seriously, it causes inflammation of the skin. It's bad for the gut, right? And so if it's bad for the gut, it's going to be bad for the skin too. Eating meat, especially processed meat, can cause colitis, Crohn's, just irritable bowel, and if your gut's unhealthy, your skin's going to be unhealthy.
So you've done some rescues in the past?
I have.
And what was that like?
Heartbreaking at times, but also it made me happy knowing that I could rescue an animal that was going to end up going to slaughter. One of those animals lives here on property, and his name is Woody.
Wow, that's loud.
Yeah, they are pretty loud out here. His name is Woody. And he came from Texas. There was an FFA student out there that shared a post online, and he didn't want to send his animal to slaughter, basically after he won or after he went to show. Typically, animals will go to show, and then if they win, or if they place, they will end up going to slaughter or being auctioned off for slaughter. And so this FFA student didn't want to send his pig to slaughter. Again, his name is Woody. So I drove down to Texas and brought him back here. And so he lives out there with the goats. He might be hiding. Let's go this way.
Oh, here comes a goat right now.
Oh yeah?
Over there behind you.
Esmeralda.
Yeah.
That's Esmeralda. Well, this is one of the goats that lives on property. And as you can tell, she doesn't have any ears. Well, she does, but she doesn't have like the typical ears that you would see on any animal, right?
Yeah.
She's really sweet. She's kind of scared though. This is Darren. And Darren actually came to us after a tornado hit. He lives out here now. The tornado hit a city really close to here. Him and a couple of his friends ended up out here. But yeah, you were talking about animals that I've helped to rescue. So Woody was one. I've also helped, along with some other activists, rescue over 1,000 chickens from a factory farm in a nearby state, with permission from the farmer, of course. During COVID, yep, that's George. Say hi, George. During COVID, some workers at this particular farm ended up getting sick, and the farmer was just going to gas thousands of chickens. And so an activist basically got in touch with, or the farmer got in touch with an activist, and multiple activists came together from California and the Midwest to help rescue over 1,000 birds. Wow. And this was the first time, this was just a couple years ago, that was the first time I'd ever stepped into a factory farm as an activist. And let me tell you, it's everything that you see online. It's heartbreaking. It was an egg-laying farm, and these birds lived in crates stacked upon one another and filth. It looked like their crates had never been cleaned before. You know, it was just very heartbreaking. There was filth everywhere. I saw dead birds laying in the crates, or the cages, if you will. They were just wired cages. Very sad. And there were wheelbarrows full of dead chickens. But anyways, the saddest part of that, one being that I couldn't rescue all of them. Like, as activists, we wanted to rescue all of them. We couldn't. We only had permission to rescue 1,000. I mean, these sheds can hold hundreds of thousands of animals, right? So what's 1,000? The most heartbreaking part of it was that I held a dying chicken in my arms. She ended up taking her last breath in my arms, and there was nothing I could do to save her life, you know? And that's basically the destiny for animals and factory farms, you know? If they don't die within a certain period of time, they'll just be sent to slaughter, you know? And many of them are sick, you know, but most people don't know that.
Yeah, so they're sick, and people eat sick animals, essentially.
Essentially, yes. I've also been to vigils. I used to live in Las Vegas, and so I would go to these vigils at a particular slaughterhouse, and I would see the animals come in on the trailers. And a lot of them would have, you know, infections, eye infections. A lot of them were dead on arrival, and they're still rendered for food, you know. There's just no words.
Who's this with the dreadlocks?
I believe this is Mila. Misty or Mina, right. She has a sister that looks just like her. She's out here. She came from a roadside circus. And she's really sweet. Yep, there's her sister right there.
And then there's another one, I think, over there maybe, or is that part of the same area?
We have horses and cows on the other side. Yeah, they're pretty friendly too. Petey, this is Petey, right? That's not Petey? They're all pretty friendly. I wish I could find Woody though. Hi, little guy. They love pig rubs. You could see their hair sticking up. They love it. They're like dogs. They can put puzzles together. There's
a whole bunch in there. Look at just chilling out in the shade.
They're just chilling.
And then there's some more over there.
Oh, that's either Pinkerton in the back or Woody. I think it's a Pinkerton in the back, the black and pink pig in the back. So I believe these two used to be piglets. They fell off a tractor trailer and They were so tiny. They're almost 700 pounds now. These babies actually were destined for slaughter. They fell off a trailer. Hey, little guy. That's Lincoln. Yeah, he was a surrender. He came to us from someone that just couldn't take care of him anymore. He's showing off his feathers, okay? That is something that he does. He likes to show off. He's gorgeous. You're gorgeous, Lincoln. We all love you. About a year and a half ago, some of my activist friends got together. We decided we were going to go out to Iowa, where they have massive pig farms. Just kind of explore and see what we could find. And when we went, every single dumpster had dead animals in it. Every single dumpster outside of the factory farms. The one in particular, again, it's all horrific and heartbreaking, but one of the last dumpsters that we went by had baby piglets up to the rim. You know, they kill the babies. Sometimes if there's like an outbreak of influenza or, you know, pig flu, they'll just kill the pigs, even healthy pigs, to make sure it doesn't spread. And you would think that if they were food animals, it wouldn't matter whether they were sick or not, right? But that's just the system, you know. Animals get sick just like us, but unfortunately they don't get the care like we do. They're just thrown in the trash, and unfortunately that's what I've seen.
Now, I've heard that some sick animals actually end up in the food system though, right?
They do, yeah. Like I said, going back to when I lived in Vegas, I witnessed that. I witnessed sick animals being rendered for food. You know, they were sick on arrival. A lot of them had, you know, pus coming from their eyes. They had, you know, inflammation, missing feathers. They had wounds. I remember one of the saddest parts was seeing a hen hanging upside down in between the crates on the tractor trailer, and it died, you know, traveling from California to Vegas to be killed for food. So many animals that are rendered for food, they travel, you know, hours from factory farm to slaughterhouse. They don't have food, they don't have water, they're not protected from the elements. Yeah, it's very sad.
And people see those vehicles on the road all the time. You probably don't really think much of it, do they?
No. I mean, I didn't until I became vegan, and then you know, started doing activism. One of my very first protests, if you will, peaceful protests, was at a slaughterhouse in St. Joe, Missouri. It's called Triumph Slaughterhouse, and they slaughter over 6 million pigs a year. We would stop and we would try and give the pigs water while the trailer was stopped at a stoplight, but many times we wouldn't succeed, and we would just, you know, take pictures of the pigs and just kind of be there to show the world what exactly the pigs were going through. And it was sad because you can hear the screams of the pigs, you know, and you can smell essentially the blood of the pigs in the slaughterhouse. Yeah, it's really sad. I used to actually live by a slaughterhouse. It was called IBP in Emporia, Kansas. And I can't believe I didn't go vegan then, because you could smell death throughout the city, you know, through the small city. I still, yeah, can remember how it smelled. So, but yeah, I've seen a lot of, cruelty as an activist. The cows are out that way.
And what's the name of this place?
It's called Shy 38.
How long has it been here?
It's since about 2015.
And how many animals?
There are over 180 animals here.
Wow.
Mostly chickens.
They're so beautiful. And you're getting ready to be here full time, I guess?
Yeah, I'm going to be living out here on property.
Wow.
In June, the end of June. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm a substitute teacher. I work at this particular school that hatched some chicks this year. And some schools around the area have like a program where you can incubate eggs and hatch chicks in class so that children can see the process of how a chick starts its life, sort of thing. And so I don't support that sort of thing, but you know, it's what can you do? So the only thing I could think of is that I could rescue, if you will, some of the birds and bring them out here. So that's what I did, and I'll show you them. Hey, little guy. Right now we're just trying to like revamp the area. We're building chicken coops for them. So these are the chicks. So there's 32 of them. Yeah.
They're so adorable though.
They are. Yep.
What do you think about that? Is there somewhere we can look you up if we want to learn more?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. It's Christina Marie. I'm on Instagram too, but I don't know what my Instagram is. I think
We'll put a link at the bottom. You can point down there.
Just put a link on there. I don't use Instagram to look at myself, so I really don't know. And I use Facebook more than Instagram.
Okay, cool. Do you have any quotes you want to share?
There's one by Pythagoras. Basically, as long as people kill animals, they will kill each other.